Today we're going to discuss about rod stability criteria with different definitions of stability which already we discussed in the last class. I'll go through briefly about last class and we'll get into rod stability criteria. So in rod stability criteria, which is considered time domain analysis, here the stability is defined for linear time invariant system based upon the two conditions. One is when the system is excited by a bounded input, the output is also bounded. If you give a bounded input for any system, will get a bounded output, then the system is said to be stable for a linear time invariant system. And one more condition is, in the absence of input, the output tends to 0 irrespective of initial conditions. Even if I remove the input, whenever I remove the input, the output has to go to 0 irrespective of initial conditions. Initial conditions means if the system initially having some voltages and capacitors charged stored in the inductor and capacitors, so because of that you may get the output, but that output has to go to 0 immediately when I remove the input. So these two conditions should satisfy for the linear time invariant system to be stable. So based upon these two conditions, we came up with BIBO stability. That is BIBO stability. A system is stable if the output is bounded, that is finite, for any bounded finite input. A system is stable for the output is bounded and for any bounded finite input. When the output is bounded, similarly you should get a bounded output for a bounded input. So for bounded or finite input, if a system produces unbounded output, the system is said to be unstable. If the input which I give is bounded but the system is producing output unbounded, it is not a finite value, then infinite value I am getting in the output, then the system is unstable. In the absence of the input, output may not be returned back to 0. Even if I remove the input also, if my output is not coming back to 0, then also we can say it is unstable system. So this happens because of the elements in this system which has the ability to produce output because of previous storage elements. So these are the two basic definitions for stability as well as instability of a system. So one more stability is there, that is critical and marginally stable or limitedly stable systems. An LTI system is said to be critically or marginally or limitedly stable if for any bounded input the output has a constant amplitude oscillations. Suppose I give an input, for that I am getting output of constant oscillations, then the system is marginally stable. Either it is not going to stable state or it is not going to unstable. The value is simply oscillating in the output, the response is simply oscillating, then the system is called as marginally or critically stable. For such systems, the roots will be on the imaginary axis. And they are non-repeated roots. So such systems are called as marginally or stable systems. So based upon these three definitions, based upon stability, instability, and marginally and critically stable systems, we have to come to a conclusion that for stability or instability is a property of system itself. The closed loop poles of a system and does not depend upon the input or driving function. Already we discussed that based upon the input we get different types of errors, steady state errors, all these things. But the stability and instability property of a system only depends upon the system itself, that is depends upon the closed loop poles itself. So does not depends upon the input. The poles of the input do not affect the stability, not even poles of the input will affect the stability, and they affect only the steady state error. As we discussed, different types of steady state error constants for different types of inputs. So this input will have only effect on steady state error output, not on the stability or instability. The stability property is completely depends upon only the system itself, that is closed loop poles. One more two definitions we have, that is absolute stable systems. What are these absolute stable systems? If the system output is stable for all variation of system parameters, then the system is called as absolutely stable system. Means if the system parameters, RLC parameters in a system are varied, even though if you vary this parameters, RLC parameters, the system is still producing a bounded output, then the system is called as absolutely stable system. Next, conditionally stable system. If the system output is stable for limited range of variation of its parameters, then the system is called conditionally stable system. These system parameters RLC values are varied for particular value, then it is called for that output is stable, then it is called as limitedly or conditionally stable systems. Conditionally stable systems. So absolute stable, conditionally stable, these two definitions are based upon the variation of system parameters. For all variations, if the system is producing stable, then it is absolutely stable. For limited range of system variations, then it is called as limitedly stable or conditionally stable systems. One more definition will go regarding stability is relative stability. What is this relative stability? The relative stability indicates the closest of system stable region. It is a quantitative measure of stability. Means the system may be how far the system is from the stability region. We can know by the relative stability, how far it is relatively stable, whether it is close to stability region, whether it is in very far from the stability region. That is nothing but relative stability, we can say. So in the time domain, the relative stability can be measured by using settling time of each root of pair of roots. Settling time of each root or pair of roots. So the settling time is inversely proportional to the location of the roots of characteristic equation. If the roots of the characteristic equation are near to the origin in the left half of the S-plane, the system is relatively less stable. If the roots are far away from the left hand side of the S-plane, the system is relatively more stable. As this is the graph, as I show you, if the roots are very nearer to the origin, if the root is here, my output will be in this fashion, and to the stability region, it is very nearer to the wedge of instability. As we said, if the roots are this side, to the right hand side of this S-plane, when the roots are this side, the system will become unstable. If the roots are on the left hand side, LHS side, then the system is stable. So if my root of this characteristic equation is very nearer to this wedge or this origin, the relative stability is very less. As the root is going far away from this axis, the system will become more stable. So this relative stability, the analysis of relative stability in the time domain is analyzed based upon the location of roots of characteristic equation. We can analyze the relative stability. As we are doing in route stability criteria, one of the advantage of route stability criteria is how to find out the relative stability in the time domain. So based upon this stability analysis, as we know, the stability, as I said, the stability is a property which depends only upon the system itself. That is, to know the system properties itself, the stability properties will go for impulse response of a system. The impulse response of a system is output of a system when it is excited by the impulse input. You know what is impulse? Laplace transform of impulse R of s is 1. So you know the response C of s by R of s is some function, is some transfer function T of s. So if R of s is 1, if R of s for the impulse, if R for impulse R of s is 1, then C of s will be R of s into T of s, where of R of s is 1. This implies 1 into T of s, it is nothing but T of s. So my complete response C of s completely depends upon T of s, and the input is impulse. As we are considering the impulse response, if the impulse response of a system is also divided as inverse Laplace transform of transfer function. So here if I take C of t is nothing but R of t. So this impulse response, because impulse is 1, a Laplace transform impulse is 1, so if I complete 1 into, then the system completely, if I give the impulse response, the system completely will distribute the time response Laplace transform of the system transform function in time domain will get. So because why we are taking R of s as impulse input, because we want to judge the system stability on the system parameters itself. Since if you are giving the input here, but input is only 1, if you give the other inputs, the stability effects we can't judge. So we want to judge the system properties for the stability analysis, so we are giving impulse input as only 1. So we already discussed about different stability regions based upon the location of force. So these different impulse inputs, these all are the responses for the impulses. So this is my one of the transfer function, m of s is equal to a by s plus 1. The root s equals to minus a. So minus a means in the negative side. So if the root is on the negative imaginary axis, we get impulse exponential decrement. The output is going to 0. The system is stability. As t tends to infinity, it is going to a finite state. So as I'm giving the impulse input, but the response is going to stable state, so the system is called stable system. So if the root, second condition, if the transfer function is a by s plus s minus a, so s equals to here plus a, the root is on the right hand side of the s plane, is then the response of this one is a into power minus plus at, so exponentially increment, and the response is going to the infinity as t tends to infinity. This case is unstable. We can see one more. If the roots are complex conjugate, I got a roots complex conjugate but are on the left hand side of the s plane, so my response is exponentially decrement. But since complex conjugate, the oscillations I'm getting, and they are damping oscillations, amplitude is reducing, so it is called as damping oscillations, and the response is damping oscillations. So if the roots are on the left hand side, same complex conjugate roots on the right hand side, previously they are left hand side, now they are on the right hand side. So when they are on the right hand side, the exponentially increment response you will get. So this as this is exponentially increasing, the system will become to the unstability region, will become instability. So if the roots are purely on the imaginary axis and they are only one single pair of roots and they are non-repeated, the response will be oscillatory, and it is constant amplitude and frequency oscillations. So this is called as nothing but marginally or limitedly stable system. So based upon the location of roots, if they are real, right hand side or left hand side of S plane, or complex conjugate, so based upon this we can see these responses. All these responses are for impulse input only. So similarly we'll find out some more this one. If I have a root a by s, my transfer function is a by s, so s equal to 0, so my root is on origin, then my response is a constant amplitude. My time in m of t is a, the constant amplitude, so the system is stable. If you have two poles at the origin, a by s square I'm having two ports at the origin, so it is nothing but m of t is a ramp a of t. So based upon a of t, that response is linearly increasing with time. So based upon this, based upon the location of roots and location of, based upon the response, type of response, we came to a conclusion that some summarized conclusion that on the 3 points, that if all the roots of a characteristic equation are negative real part, then the system is stable. If the roots are on the right hand side, if the roots are on the left hand side, negative real part, then this is origin, this is imaginary axis, and this is real axis. If the roots are on the negative side, then the system is stable. If the roots are if any one of the root is positive, if the root is positive, it lies on the right hand side of the S plane, the system will become instability. And if they have a repeated roots, if they have repeated roots also, if they have two or more repeated roots on the imaginary axis, then also system will become unstable. So if the third condition, if the condition 1 is satisfied and the presence of one or more non-repeated roots on the imaginary axis, the system is limitedly or marginally stable. If you have two or more roots which are non-repeated, the values should be different, then the system is marginally stable. So these two conditions, repeated roots on the imaginary axis, non-repeated roots. For non-repeated roots, the system is marginally stable. For repeated roots, the system is unstable. So the roots, based upon these roots, we will conclude whether the system is stable or unstable. So to know that if it is second order system, we can simply find out the roots by minus b plus or minus under root b square minus 4ac by 2a formula. But if it is higher order, considering the if it is nth order, so here if you find the roots, this is the second order system, a square plus bs plus c. So the root is minus b plus or minus under root b square minus 4ac by 2a. So these are the function. The roots are nothing but the functions of the coefficients of the characteristic equation. So see, if the b is positive here, if the b is positive, I'll get the negative root. So the root will be on the left hand side, and the system is simply, I can say it is a stable. If the roots, my coefficient, coefficient is minus b, the second coefficient, s coefficient is minus b. If I substitute b of minus b, so what happens? This b minus minus, I'll get plus, and the root will lies on the have a positive value, and it lies on the RHS side of S plane. The system will become unstable here. So for second order system, if we analyze like this, the roots are coefficient are the functions of these coefficients, and based upon these coefficients we can decide whether the root is on right side or left side, and the system is stable or unstable. So if I have nth order characteristic equation, the roots of nth order characteristic equation are the functions of coefficients a0, a1, a2, and an minus 1 and an. So based upon the coefficients, we will decide whether the system is stable or not. So one more thing. So suppose if one of the term is missing, you can see here one of the term is missing, s term is missing, a square plus c equal to 0 is my characteristic equation. In this s term is missing. So what is the root? I will find out. S equals to minus c by a. So s equal to under root minus c by a. Under root minus is nothing but j. So jc by a. So this is imaginary. So my root will be on the imaginary axis. So what happens? So since plus or minus j I will get, so roots will be imaginary. So the system is oscillating response. I may get the oscillating response with constant amplitude, and system is marginally stable. So roots are, if imaginary, I'll get a pure oscillating nature. So like this, but the based upon if any quotient is missing, if any quotient is negative, if any quotient is positive, so based upon these conditions we'll decide whether the system is stable or unstable. So from this we'll get a conclusion that if all the coefficients are positive and if no coefficient is 0 and missing, then all the roots are on the left hand side of S plane, right? So if all the coefficients are positive and no root is missing, no coefficient is missing, then the roots are on the left hand side of S plane. If So second conclusion is if any coefficient a is equal to 0, then the roots may be imaginary. As we did above, it may be imaginary and are on the right half of S plane. If any of the coefficient is negative, then at least one of the root will be on the right half of S plane. So based upon this, since the roots are functions of coefficients, so roots location we can find based upon the coefficients and location of the coefficients. So based on these conditions, based upon these criteria, the Routh scientists come up with a condition that Routh stated necessary condition that the necessary condition for stability of a control system is as follows. If all the coefficients of characteristic equation must be real and positive, none of the coefficients should be missing. These conditions are not sufficient only for a necessary. The necessary conditions are all the coefficients of characteristic should be real and positive. None of the coefficients should be missing. So this necessary condition, but it is not sufficient, because even though if all the coefficients are positive, sometimes you may have a roots with a negative real part, and the roots may lie on the left hand side of the S plane, and the system will become unstable. So these conditions are only a necessary condition but not sufficient. The sufficient conditions are given by this Routh scientist. So according to that, you can call this as Routh stability criteria or RH criteria, or necessary or sufficient condition for the system to be stable. So what this RH criteria states, the necessary and sufficient condition for the stability is that all the elements of the first column of the row be positive. All the elements in the Routh array should be positive. If the number of sign change, if this condition is not met, the system is unstable. Means if any element in the first column is not having a positive sign, then the meaning is that the system is unstable. If all the elements are positive, then only the system stability condition is existing. The number of sign changes in the elements of the first column of Routh array corresponds to the number of roots of characteristic equation or on the right hand of S plane. So the number of roots may be which are on the right hand side can be decided by the number of sign changes in the first column of this Routh array. So let us go to construct the Routh array. How to construct the Routh array? We will see now. Generally, I'll consider a characteristic equation. So what is characteristic equation? That is denominator polynomial of closed loop system. So see this is a characteristic equation. A0 s power n plus a1 s power n minus 1 plus a2 s power n minus 2 plus so on an minus 1 to s power n plus an s power 0 equal to 0. So since this equation, I'll construct the Routh array. Please see carefully how to construct this Routh array. Construction of Routh array is listen carefully, because otherwise you will get confused. So first of all, I'll take the power of this characteristic equation is n. So the highest power n term I'll take here, s power n. Next I'll write s power n minus 1 term. Next I'll write s power n minus 2 term. So on I'll write until s power 0 term 0. So the coefficient of s power n is a0. I'll write a0 here. Next coefficient of n minus 1 is a1. So next coefficient of s power n minus 2 is a2. I should not write a2 here. Okay, I'll write a2 corresponding to the s power n term only. I'll write a2 here. Next, similarly, I'll write next a3 term. You will have that a3 s power n minus 3 term. So a3 term I'll write here, and last I'll write, let's say this is a0 term or an term, so on an term. So now how I'll write a2, I'll get here a4, and here I'll get a5, and so on, I'll get an here. So how to construct this row array? So next element is here. How to find this element? See carefully how to multiply a1 with a2 minus a0 with a3 divided by a0 a1 divided by a1. So I'll write this. See carefully. a1 into a2 minus a0 into a3 divided by a1. So this is the next term. So this is nothing but b1 I'll call. The next term I have to find out. The next term is again a1 into a4 minus a0 into a5 divided by a1. So that is a1 into a4 minus a0 into a5 divided by a1. So the first column elements are cross, you have to multiply in cross way, and again divided by a1 term only, right? So this term, let's say I'll call it as b2 term. Next, s power n minus 3 term, let's say n minus 3 term I am calculating. So up to s0 I have s power n minus 3 term. So for this calculation, now this one should multiply with this minus this one with this one. So that is b1 a3 minus a1 b2 divided by b1, right? So a1 a3 minus a1 b2, right? So next term, if I get next term, I have to multiply. So same way you have to further, let's say this as c1. So next term a1 a5 a1 a5 minus b1 a5 minus a1 b2 divided by b1. Let's say this is c2. So like that we have to go until s power 0 term. Okay, so we'll do some problems now to find the stability. So using RH criterion, determine the stability of a system represented by the characteristic equation. So this is a problem from the question bank, first problem on RH criteria. So that is 26 first problem, s power 5 plus s power 4 plus 3s cube plus 9s square plus 16s plus 10 equal to 0. So I'll construct the Routh array. By using RH criteria, we have to tell whether the system is stable or not. So first I'll construct the Routh array. So the coefficient, the highest power coefficient is s power 5. Next coefficient is s power 4. Right. Next is s3. Next is s power 2. Next is s. Next is s power 0. So s power 5 quotient is 1. Next s power 4 quotient is also 1. Next s power 3 quotient is 3. Don't write 3 here, you have to write 3 here. Next s square quotient 9. Next s coefficient 16. Next is 10. See here, no coefficient is missing here. No, none of the quotient is missing. All the coefficients are positive. So the necessary condition is the system is stable. But sufficient condition is we have to construct the Routh array and check all the elements of the first column whether they are positive or not. So this is, I taken the values. Now I'll find out the first term, s cube term, s power 3 term. How I'll find out s power 3 term? So have to multiply this 1 into 3 minus 1 into 9. So 1 into 3 minus 1 into 9 divided by minus 1 into 9 divided by again 1. So this I'll get 3 minus 9 divided by 1, that is minus 6. So the term here is minus 6. Okay, so next term I'll have to go for this term. So this is 1 into 16 minus 1 into 10. So 1 into 16 minus 1 into 10 divided by 1. So this is 16 minus 10, which is by 1, which is 6. So I got 6 here. So minus 6 and 1. So I can make this as further simple. I can multiply, I can divide both, take common 6 here. So I can get here minus 1. I'll get this as if I take common, I'll get minus 1, and here it is 1. You can simplify so that the multiplication terms will be very easy and you can proceed further. So now it is minus 1. So now to find out the next term, same here, minus 1 into 9 minus 1 into 1. So minus 1 into 9 minus 1 into 1 divided by same minus 1. So I'll get this is minus 9 minus 1. Minus 10 divided by minus 1, minus is cancelled. I'll get 10 here. Okay, so next term I have to find out this term, that is minus 1 into 10, 1 minus here nothing is there, so 0. So I'll get minus 1 into 10 minus nothing is there divided by minus 1, minus gets cancelled. I'll get 10. So here you can say the alternative, if no term is there here, so alternatively you can directly take the term here minus 10. So again I can take common 10. So I'll get this as I'll get this as 1. I'll get this as 1, and this is also 1. So now 1 into 1 minus 1 minus 1, it will be a 0 term. Then here it will be again no term will get, so here it is 1, so I'll get 1 here. Now if I consider this first row elements, so this is positive, this is positive, this is negative, minus 1, this is 1, this is 0, which means positive, this is 1. So the first column elements, if I see, there is a 1 sign change from plus to minus. I got 1. They are not same, so the system is the system has having one negative term. So, and how many sign changes we have to check? So this is plus 2 minus 1 sign change, and again minus to plus one more sign change, second sign change. There are 2 sign changes. So since there are 2 sign changes, since there are the elements in the first element are not having same sign, so I'll conclude this as there are 2 sign changes. There are 2 sign changes. So there are 2 roots on right hand side of S plane. Total S power 5 is there, so I'll get 5 roots. So out of this, two sign changes means 2 roots are on the right hand side. Since the roots are side and right, hence the system is unstable. The system is unstable. So I'll go for one more problem. We'll go for one more problem, that is S power 4 plus 8s cube plus 18s square plus 16s plus 5 equal to 0. So construct Routh array and tell whether the system is stable or not. So construction of Routh array. So what is the highest power? S power 4. So I'll take S power 4, next S cube, next S square, next S power 1, next S power 0. So S power 4 coefficient is 1, s cube coefficient is 8, next s square coefficient is 18, don't write 18 here, you have to write 18 here. Next is s coefficient 16, next is 5. Now we'll construct the row array. So this is, if you have common, you can take the common. Here 8 is there, here 16 is there. If I take the common, I'll get this as 1, 8 1s are 8 2s are 1 and 2 I'll get. 8 2s are 16. So I'll taking 8 common, 1 and 2 I'll get. So 1 into 8 minus 1 into 8 minus 1 into 2. So 1 into 2 divided by 1. So this is 16, 18, this is 18 minus 2 by 1, that is 16. So I'll get 16 here. Next, so no term is here. If you multiply also, and you will get here 5. Alternative, you can take 5 if there is no term below this value. So you can directly take 5. Or if you multiply also, 1 into 5 divided by 1 into 0. So 5 will get 5 divided by 1 will get 5 only. Next we will go for this term, that is 16 into 2 minus 1 into 5. So 16 into 2 minus 1 into 5 divided by 16. So this I'll get 32 minus 5 by 16, whose value I'll get 1.68. So this is 1.68. Next, no element is there, so alternate I can take 5. Now this construction of row array is over. So now see the first column elements. This is 1, this is also 1, this is 16, this is 1.68, this is 5. So all the elements of the first row of row array are having same sign. There is no sign change, all are positive terms. So hence the system is stable. All the elements of first column of row array are positive. So system is stable. This is the conclusion. Okay. So in the same way, you will please try to do all the problems which are given in the question bank. So while constructing, you will get 2 difficulties in this row array that I will discuss in the next class. Please try to solve these problems. So please watch the next class where you will find some difficulties of constructing this row array. So what are those difficulties? How to solve that? How to construct those difficulties? We'll see in the next class. Thank you.